Rasmus Hojland has had a meteoric rise to glory in the last 2 years. At just 20 years old, the Dane looks to be the regen of Erling Haaland. Insanely fast, left-footed, tall, great positioning, and a Ronaldo-like ego who looks to be Manchester United's newest number 9. This is the stupendous rise of Rasmus Hojland. Hojland was born in Coppenhagen in 2003. Hojland grew up surrounded by football. His father, Anders Hojland, had a professional career himself in the Danish league throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Anders raised his family in Holsum. Rasmus first played for Holsum Usred Idrætsklub before Brøndby and then joining Copenhagen's youth system, alongside his younger brother Emil and Oscar. At under-19s level, Hojland ripped apart the Danish league, scoring 15 and assisting 3 in his 22 appearances, scoring in 6 consecutive games. His performances obviously then caught the eye of the first team and was handed his debut whilst playing for the under-19s on the 26th of October 2020. Hojland would go on to score only 1 goal for the senior side that season, but thanks to his under-19s performances, coaches from afar were starting to notice the youngster's potential. Of course, everyone's aware they shouldn't be turning down a tall, blonde and talented striker from Scandinavia these days. In 2021-22, Hojland then gained valuable experience in qualification for the Europa Conference League with Copenhagen, even scoring 5 times in the process. As well as impressing at under-19s level for the Denmark national team, as much as Hojland wasn't smashing in the goals quite as much as Erling Haaland was, Austrian side Sturm Graz saw potential in the youngster and snapped him up for 1.8 million in the January transfer window of 2022. Hojland, at this stage only 18, knew the Austrian league had produced some great talents over the years. This was an excellent chance to prove himself, and he did just that. In his first Austrian Bundesliga game versus Tyrol, Hojland set the tone with a brilliant brace to earn a draw, then scoring in the 2 following games after that, going on to finish the second half of the season with 6 goals. More importantly though, Hojland was still only 19 and getting regular minutes in a high league, 41 appearances for that 21-22 season. But Hojland was hungry for more, and at the start of the 2022-23 season, in his second game of the season, he went and bragged a brace against RB Salzburg, one of the biggest clubs in the country. In 6 months in Austria, Hojland had 12 goals and 4 assists in 21 games. But waiting around the corner was yet another transfer. This time, Atalanta, the club that had played some fantastic football over the past few years in Italy and were desperate for some young talent to back up their ageing strike partnership of Duvan Zapata and Luis Muriel. 17 million was splashed out to Sturm Graz, who were more than happy with their profits for Hojland, and he was shipped off to Italy. And Hojland hasn't looked back since. In just his second game, he bagged his first goal against Monza in the Serie A. At just 19 years of age, Hojland had announced his name on the big stage, a European top 5 league. Hojland would go on to play a key role in Atalanta this season, scoring 9 and assisting 4 in the Serie A, appearing 42 times in 2022-23. In just 3 years, and yes, I know the story seems quick, but it really has just been 3 years. Hojland has gone from playing in the reserves of Copenhagen to dominating the Serie A. Defenders are vastly aware of his threat in behind goal, and he's being linked with some of the world's biggest clubs. Now, something to address with Hojland: his constant and quite frustrating comparisons with Erling Haaland. And yes, I know, I've been doing it this whole video, but now's the time for it to stop. You see, on first glance, when you look at Hojland's stats, 9 goals in 32 Serie A games isn't exactly phenomenal, and certainly doesn't look that promising when he could be transitioning into a much harder league in the English top flight. But that's only because we're so used to seeing these insane numbers of Haaland, and not everybody is Haaland. For instance, at just 19, Haaland was destroying the Champions League and Austrian League, and in that campaign we've also moved to Dortmund halfway through, and 44 goals in 40 games that season. An unrecognisable amount of numbers in an early-aged striker, something that we really haven't seen before. You see, when Alan Shearer was 19, he scored only 3 goals in 29 appearances for 1 season, yet he went on to become the greatest goal scorer the Premier League has ever seen. Wayne Rooney, third on the all-time scoring list at a similar age, was seen as a marvel, one of the best young talents the game had ever seen. Yet only 9 goals in 34 Premier League games. Not exactly sensational. So let's take away our modern day perspectives with these Haaland and Mbappe stats. And when you look at it, Hojland looks like a very promising striker. Someone who, if he keeps getting regular minutes, can continue to develop his game and become a truly world-class forward. But that's not right now. Which brings me on to my potential problem with him signing for Manchester United. You see, Hojland is young. He's not Haaland young. He's normal young and probably isn't ready to be a main striker for Manchester United, especially as everyone will expect him to score 30 goals a season straight away. In my opinion, he needs someone more experienced to learn from, like he has done at Atalanta, like in Zapata and Muriel. At United, there isn't a truly experienced out-and-out striker he could learn from. Sure, there's Marcus Rashford, but he's flittering from wing to striker every 5 minutes. Hojland would be the man with all the pressure on him straight away, and maybe he could handle it, but that's a maybe. Now, of course, in a perfect Manchester United world, they'd go and sign Harry Kane as well, have him finish off his career there in his prime and act as a great teacher for Hojland. Boy, wouldn't that be a great world for Manchester United fans. But with their ownership situation, I very much doubt they're going to splash out on Kane and Hojland, especially when Onana and Mount have cost them 100 million already. A club in as much debt as United simply cannot afford that. But his style would suit Ten Hag's system. You see, Hojland is one of these more modern day strikers who has a very technical ability and is great at dribbling. As a complete opposite to Haaland, Hojland takes around another 10 touches of the ball per 90 and completes 4 times as many dribbles per match. In Ten Hag's new and improved progressive Manchester United, schooled in the Ajax way of total football, Hojland could be perfect. No striker in Serie A last season received more progressive passes per 90 than himself. He has the technical ability to link up with other teammates often, showing he knows when and where to be when his side are launching up the pitch. Everyone's talking about Rasmus Hojland, and I hope this video has given you a little more insight into what kind of striker he is, where he's come from, and what we can expect of him. And if you did, please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. This has been The Football in Question.